Tap in, Aquarius rising. I'm Boy. You're awesome. This is your year ahead. Let's talk about it. Context matters. Yes, you are Aquarius rising, but you are not a stereotypical human, and astrology acknowledges this. Your ruling planets are both the traditional ruler, Saturn, and the modern day ruler, Uranus. The position and the condition of these two planets will actually give us nuance about your specific identity and personality. With that in mind, let's break it down. This is the calendar for your year ahead screenshot in 3, 2, 1. Now, first up, in late 2024 in December and the start of January, there could have been some strife, some confrontation, some disagreements with you and a one-to-one relationship. This could be a close friend, a romantic relationship, a business partner, all of the above. I'm not sure. But something may have come to a head in this time. Now, since then, Mars has actually retrograded into your 6th house of health, and this is in the sign of Cancer, so it could have something to do with your living situation, changes, readjustments, a lot of attention, and potentially some strain, discomfort, passive aggression even could have taken place or could be taking place while Mars has its stay in Cancer, your 6th house of health, work colleagues, and basically your daily tasks. How do you want to spend your time and who do you want to spend it with? The 6th house, where Mars currently is retrograding in, has to do with your work colleagues and your day-to-day work. So at the moment, and up until about mid-April, there could actually be some passive aggression, some resentment, some underlying frustration with you and your work colleagues. Also you and your living situation, because we're talking about Cancer and that rules the home. Now, post mid-April, Aquarius rising, we will get the final opposition between Mars and Pluto. So whatever was happening in December or early January, this issue could resolve or return and actually come to a head. So it's important to, in this time, actually be quite calm and cool-headed and objective about this situation. It might feel like your sovereignty or authority is tested. People aren't acknowledging you for your talents, gifts, and abilities, or vice versa. Maybe you're projecting that on them. Worth noting. Now, post May 14, Mars will have left its shadow period and you should be in the clear. These conflicts should become less of an event, less intense. There could be still a lot of attention put on this one-to-one relationship if you are in a relationship, or indeed just a feeling of needing to express yourself and to be acknowledged and recognized by those around you. In any regard, things begin to wrap up and things feel a little less tense. And around June, Jupiter will enter this 6th house of Cancer, and whatever conflicts you may have had in the home or in the workplace, or maybe you were very limited in your time, these things become a lot more unbothered, nonchalant, and these issues start to wrap up. And it's a pretty favorable period for you in the living situation as well. Again, Cancer rules the home. So this period will last from June 2025 to June 2026. Post that, Jupiter's actually going to come up and start hitting your 7th house and your descendants. So the relationship will vastly improve then too. Jupiter generally makes things feeling pretty good. There's abundance, opportunity, and a general unbothered, emotionally tranquil, emotionally safe place. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. Now, that's something to look forward to. Now, let's rewind back to March, late March, around 29th of March. You'll get your final eclipse in the 3rd house of neighbors, neighborhood, locality, siblings, how you communicate, the transactional nature of getting ideas inside of your head and outside of your head, language, vernacular, vocabulary, your writing, your learning. Now, for the last year and a half, there's been some transformations, one might say, new beginnings and new endings in this area, and that will come to a head and you will find some resolve in this time. Now, daisy chaining out of this eclipse, we have Venus starting in your 3rd house of Aries and actually retrograding back into Pisces, your 2nd house, and it will make a series of conjunctions with Neptune and Saturn. Now, this is a really interesting retrograde, and it will require you to stay grounded and realistic as possible. There could be some serious spiritual insights, some delusions of grandeur, and some idealism around your income and what you value. Your values could actually be restructured and reformed in this time. And it's very important to not suffer the rose-colored glasses when it comes to your financial situation when Venus retrogrades back into the second house. This can also turn up as old loves, people from your past turning up out of nowhere and saying what's up, and potentially old investments actually maturing and you getting a return on investment, especially when Venus starts retrograding back and starts hitting that Saturn. Now, this is also profound spiritual insights because Neptune and Venus together are quite spiritual. It's very important to not escape and turn to alcohol or substance abuse and actually find a more healthy way to release or get in touch with this divine discontent. There will always feel like there is something more. There has to be something more, right? When Venus and Neptune is in Pisces, but it is a very beautiful energy, a forgiving energy, and it's trying to dissolve boundaries, both with you and another person, and you and your own psychology, you and your own spiritual alchemy. It's a beautiful time of the year, but yes, try to stay grounded and don't delude yourself, especially about investments in your financial situation. Keep on top of that, keep disciplined, use that Saturnian energy to ground yourself. Now, around June, Saturn and Neptune will actually conjunct and enter this third house again. And Saturn doesn't like Aries. So in this time, you could become very impatient with your neighbors. Your communication style could become very blunt. You could be deluded about that situation as well. You could be misled. There could be some deception happening with your relationship with your neighbors, your siblings, extended family, and just generally the way you communicate. You could become quite self-sacrificial, some kind of martyr, let's say, in these areas of your life. But it's important to, again, ground yourself and don't lose your patience in this time. If anything, this period of time when Saturn and Neptune enter the third house will give you a clue about what is to come, because they will retrograde themselves back into this second house. And then I think next year they're well and truly in this third house of Aries for some time. Now, mid-March, we will get the first of the new eclipses. There's a shifting of the eclipse. They're moving from your third and ninth house to your second and your eighth house. Now, this is moving to the financial axis. So mid-March, you'll get the first clue, but it'll actually be more pronounced and more poignant around September. Now, this looks like you understanding that you are financially linked to someone else's money. This could be a bank, this could be a mortgage, a debt, this could be a spouse or a partner or a business partner. Now, again, it's really important in this time to stay grounded. Do not suffer from idealism or hope. Be very calculated, be very structured with these things. Now, Virgo is going to ask you to be extremely analytical, down to earth about this. Look at those fine details before you make any serious commitments when it comes to investments. And it's a time to really appreciate that you may not be in complete control of your finances and that you may need to negotiate or find some happy medium when it comes to your shared assets. This will go for the next year and a half as well, this eclipse season, starting off mid-March. So yes, if you haven't noticed, there's a lot about finance and assets and not being idealistic about your investments. Very important to recognize that. Now, some of you have actually got Pluto on your ascendant, which is deep transformation with your relationship with community. There are some really wild planetary shifts and transits happening this year. And Pluto in this first house is definitely this happened late last year anyway, but this is an ongoing transformation with your identity and the way you show up in any given moment. And this kind of links into Aquarius, because Aquarius, when that enters your fifth house of children, the way you express yourself, your love affairs, your own sense of leadership and creativity will form trines with this Pluto. So there'll be deep transformations with your relationship with these things, both your identity, your appearance, might alter, or just the way you express yourself and what you want to create, creation itself. You could be having children. You could decide to have a family. In Gemini, it's about being, again, very analytical, and there'll be a lot of ideas kind of formulated about what other kinds of things you want to create. and what is your relationship with children if you have any. And this will again be an insight or a clue, because Uranus will retrograde back into this fourth house where it's been a very turbulent time while Uranus has been in your fourth house of home, family. A lot of things have shifted. No doubt you've moved in the last 7 years, very likely. And again, as it'll come back into Gemini for good in 2026, but we do get a clue from July to September. Big changes in this area of basically everything family related. So your siblings, extended family, third house, your home and living situation, fourth house, and your relationship with children. This whole area of the chart is quite impacted this year, as well as your finances and shared assets. So it's a very internal year, a very private year in some ways, but enjoy it. Enjoy the ride. I'm also an Aquarius rising, so hopefully I'm giving myself some advice as well. Anyway, drop some knowledge. What do you think of my interpretation? Hope that helps. Okay, bye.